Probably I'll take to maybe an extreme step in providing this feedback. Primary decision making process should never be like, okay, I want to move to UK. Things may not turn out the way you always think, right? If I am not seeing a change, right, I will always make a change.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking out time to be on my channel. I know, being a manager, your life will be very hectic right now, and still you took out time. So thank you so much for being here. Your journey has been like extremely amazing. I've seen like you went from like starting from the software engineer, like I started, and many other people start just after graduating. You went way till up till the principal engineer, like which everyone wants to be, like the maximum thing they can do. And after that, you switch to software development manager. So I'm pretty sure that you have a lot to discuss in your journey, like what were the things that kept you going motivated along the way, and what things helped you actually grow in your career, and at what times did you think that you have to switch to somewhere other project or some other company or something like that.
Thanks, Sugat. Thanks for this invitation. I'm more than happy to discuss my career journey and also try to inspire others during this talk. So I started my career in India soon after my undergraduation, which I did on electronics and telecommunication. Then I joined a telecom OEM called Huawei Technologies in I think probably in Q3 2022. Sorry, Q3 2002. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So initially, as a software engineer, right, getting into the industry, most of the people, right, I have no idea what I would like to get into and what I need to learn and things like that. Like back probably around 20 years back, right, there is no good training platform like you guys are doing and other things happening in India, right? There is very less exposure into what an engineer can expect getting into the industry. So this is something like I've learned on the job. So initially for 3 to 4 years, I was working as a software engineer, building the software stacks, which is protocol stacks, which is critical for wireless network. Okay. So, and again, then shifted a little bit into voice over IP. So most of the time there was a transition in the industry wherein people have started moving into the bigger telecom players started moving into from PSTN into an end-to-end IP-based network. Okay. So I was part of the journey, building all those kind of protocol stacks, which is critical for that telecom providers for that journey. Then I got an opportunity to get into wireless labs research, and then I moved from India to China and probably like stayed in China for maybe around 6 to 7 years. The wireless labs. So this is some. It's a very different country and it's a completely different culture, right? Most of the people will not do that. So I think that the question which is coming up is, why did you make that decision, right? So when I was starting my career, right, as I told you, I have no idea what I want to do. There was no, I don't know what is my interest itself is, right? So when I build these systems or being part of the product development, I really understand that this is an area which I want to explore and research, right? The wireless networking. So I thought that I got an opportunity. I was exploring within the company itself before trying to move outside. What are the best opportunities I get? Then I got this into the wireless lab research. Then I thought, okay, this is something which I definitely needs to try. So then I moved to China. I lived there for around 6 to 7 years, building, probably I would say this was one of the best career decisions which I have made, looking back into the last 20 years in my career, right? I've been part of the journey of building one of the most successful product of the telecom OEM called Huawei, which today takes around 30% of China's traffic. Okay. It's an amazing thing, the scale at which the China internet works today, right? So, so let's talk a little bit more about like what was the journey itself was, right? So if you want to really build a product, it's not about like a individual contributor thing. It is all about a collective team. So you need to always look at first look at what is the vision a leader is talking about, whether you are inspired by the vision and you strongly believe in that vision. Okay, that is a personal choice and a decision you want to make. And the second one is, what are the people you are going to work with? Are you going to, are most of these people better than you? Because otherwise, right, you are not going to learn anything out of this whole journey, right? Because you are investing probably like 6-7 years of your life into something which you believe. So are you gaining out of them something really good? So there is always like you are going to build something really successful. That happiness is always there. But along that journey, right, you need to always look at probably every 6 months in your career, am I doing something different what I did before in the last 6 months? Did I learn something new? So this is always my you can call it as mantra or something which I always look at in my whole career, whether it is product management, business growth, or software development, and currently like managing multiple teams. Right, this is always my mantra. If I am not seeing a change, right, I will always make a change within the organization, or I will make a shift to a different organization within the company itself. So this is always my success mantra. So now let's go back into like, so after this successful product was launched, then I thought that what is the next step I want to do? Because at that point of time, in probably like around 10 years in my career, right, I've learned a lot about networks, like whatever you can learn in terms of happening in the industry. For example, like wireless network, wireline network, or it could be like anything on the access network, like Wi-Fi or radio network. Whatever documents I could get hold of, I used to learn. I used to go to 3GPP meetings. Used to go to IETF, where all the internet standardization happens. I go there, present papers. I've written some IETF drafts as well. So the whole idea is the first 10 years in your industry is always for knowledge acquisition. So I did all this kind of investment in my early career. Then I thought that, okay, this is a time I wanted to establish and look at how people think about creating a new business. So that is always a challenge, right? Till now, what I was looking at is, okay, I have a technical problem. I might have a customer problem to some extent. I am going to solve that problem from a technical aspect point of thing. Now I need to take a step outside from that horizon and think about that, okay, now can we create something new to solve a critical customer problem. Yeah, and also start from building a team itself, right? There is nothing there. So previously everything was there. I'm trying to solve only the problems there. Now it is like nothing is there. You want to create a new business for the company. So I been part of the Huawei's cloud journey, building the first content delivery network for Huawei. So that time, I think the teams were completely distributed. The core research team was in US, and we have development teams in China, and we started a team in India as well. Then there was a team even in UK. So I got an opportunity to move to UK and build the team there and being part of this Huawei's cloud journey. So unfortunately, things may not turn out the way you always think, right? The initial content delivery networking product launch was not successful. And we did a lot of business decisions. We want to spin off into entirely different thing, which is kind of a creating a cloud within the Huawei infrastructure itself, not for a customer-facing thing. So I spent around 2.5 years building that product and building teams. Then I thought that I wanted to be in that area itself, in the content delivery network. So I got an opportunity to move to US working for a startup. Okay. Again, if you look at all my career decisions, right, I make decisions because I'm passionate about something. That is what I strongly believe in. And I wanted to do that. If I am not getting opportunity in that organization, I try to look for opportunity within that organization. If there is no opportunity, then I'll always move out. Okay.
Great.
Then I joined a startup in, it was based out of Boston. I was the 5th employee of the company, including the co-founders. And that is probably like after my Huawei journey, right? That was again the second best decision which I made. Because as I told you, right, I wanted to really understand what all things we need to look into when you start a business, right? I learned all those things in that startup because first of all, the advantage was that I was an early member of the team. And I got an opportunity to work really close with the co-founders. Both of them are MIT undergraduates, and they have done their MBA in Harvard and things like that. So I worked really close with Adam Riziga, who was one of the co-founders. Then we talked about like building like the first product, which is a transparent internet caching called the tick caching within the content delivery editor. And that product itself has, we got the first customer in Japan, creating a revenue of around $1 million. So it was like nothing was there from the scratch, right? We built something, and getting the first revenue to the company, right, is always a big deal. Now the challenge is, how do you scale that business to probably like 100 million? That is that I've still not figured out that one, but the company itself, we made probably a good amount of revenue, and over a span of 6-7 years, we sold it to a telecom OEM company. In 2019, in April 2018. So some of the products which we built there was first starting with CDN, then again talking to all kind of customers. At that point of time, we realized that most of the telecom network operators, they wanted to have something called as a platform within their infrastructure where they can go and create applications in a compute, similar to what AWS provides as EC2, right? But they want it within their infrastructure to build all kind of low latency applications. It's a different business model, right? So that was a thought process which we had in 2013, and we built that by around 2017, the way before even AWS launches Wavelength. Okay, so that is how I think the acquisition happened, and that was a good journey, because we were traveling and talking to all kind of network operators, trying to understand what is it's basically like not just about solving their problem, also looking at the revenue perspective for these companies. So that is where most of my effort was till 2019. Then I think the next question, right? If you looked at like, okay, why the hell this person joined AWS? Right? Yeah. So after that, as I told you, right, I think it's very easy to build a business. Or maybe it's not very easy. If you have a very good problem to solve, right, you can actually go and build a business. But how do you scale that business to the scale which Amazon is working? So that was something which we couldn't learn from that startup, right? Or at least, right, because we were not really like $1 billion company, right? So then I thought that, okay, the best way to learn that is join Amazon or probably like some other cloud providers. When I looked at different options, Amazon was probably AWS particularly is doing an amazing thing. The two things which kind of stick to my mind that time was, these guys were able to scale, and at the same time, they were able to innovate. It's a very difficult thing to do. Okay. Yeah. So I thought, okay, I think I need to be part of this one. I really need to understand how these people are thinking, and that motivates me to join AWS. So I joined as a software development manager, and looking at the AWS Route 53. Business, especially on the authoritative DNS side. And then over a period of 1.5 years, I think from last 1 year, I'm actually managing the complete AWS Route 53 Resolver team. So currently, I think I've not updated my LinkedIn. I'm currently a senior manager, managing the complete DNS Resolver and looking at the whole business aspect of this one. So that is where my journey is. So if you go back and connect all the dots, and if you look at like, okay, what are the learnings, or probably like if I look back and if I want to give some kind of training or kind of at least 2-3 bullet points for anyone to look at, right, is first 6-7 years, right? I think you should learn everything, whatever you can learn out of this one, because the difference, right? Today and probably like 20 years back when I started my career, right? Today, all the new people are kind of getting into an area where you have a very solid cloud infrastructure easily available. So nobody actually doesn't need to go and, because when we were part of building things, right, we need to, okay, there was no open source kind of a database, we can start using it, right? So either we want to build it from scratch or take something open source, which is scrappy, and you need to, again, invest a lot of engineering into the scale or whatever we want to build into. So that is something which is completely missing, probably for a new engineer, right, joining at this time of the industry. So my suggestion would be that try to learn domain try to look at the different aspects of whatever things, probably like you are working in artificial intelligence, try to look at like what are the use cases for healthcare and what are the problems we want to solve there. So try to always learn, one aspect is about the domain, then you will learn about what are the customer facing problems, then apply that into your technical things. And then probably like it's easy, as I told you, right? It's very easy to integrate and put together a solution. But what are the engineering things you need to look into if you want to completely scale that solution? That is where the challenge today is. Then also learn from open sources. There are a lot of very good open sources people have put together. So I used to spend nowadays also, right? Probably look at some of the open sources coming from Uber and Facebook, because I really want to understand about the software architecture, right? People are looking into, so that they were able to scale their product. So that is another good way to learn. Then I think over this journey, right, you really will understand what is your passion. Then figure out what is the next step you want to take in your career. So that is if you want to put in a nutshell, right, that would be my feedback.
Yeah, so like your story is like really quite inspiring, like that your like first of all you actually found your interest, that what you want to do, and then you were able to follow on that and grow in that particular field from start till end. Like in the complete thing that you mentioned, you have been like sticking to the networking side of things and the software development, and also innovating at the same time while learning new things along. So like this is really inspiring. But I also like want to discuss like the things, the way people like currently in the industry think. So like we as engineers, like a lot of engineers mostly like are now much focused towards like something like positions or maybe work-life balance to get somewhere, or maybe to go to some particular country and be there. So like how were these factors like when you were growing in your field? Did these factors also exist for you also, or were you mostly focused on the skill?
Yeah, I think this is a question, right, which most often come people whenever I think they want to discuss with me. I think they ask me these questions like, I want to join something which has less operations. I want to join something. I want to have work-life balance. So let me take all this and try to answer that. So work-life balance is really, really important, right? Because I actually really, really like Elon Musk, but probably like we cannot sustain that model, right, in the long term, right? So that might impact productivity. But I think the key thinking every engineer needs to have is, at least like 2-3 years needs to have, is like, you are part of a team and you should think that as a startup, right? So joining a big company is good. But again, thinking that, you are part of a small team, which is a startup. So how do you work for that particular company, right? Thinking that the mental model is that you are part of a startup. So you need to make sure that you need to innovate so that you will have the best product, so that you can actually solve the customer problem and make revenue out of for your product, right? So that should be the fundamental thinking. Then I think once you have this passion of solving the problem, right, probably like it's not like you will always look at a clock and say that, I have worked 6 hours or 7 hours, now I am going to stop doing that. Because it's always about the passion to solve the problem. Then think about this, you're part of a startup. How do you make sure that you're taking the product to the next level? So this should be I think every engineer's thinking needs to be like this. And again, tagging to this one, I know this problem which is happening. I've been discussing with a lot of engineers in India as well. Sometimes people used to connect with me in LinkedIn. So in a bigger picture of things, right, it doesn't matter because at this point, the industry has evolved a lot, wherein every company, as I think, including my organization, is completely remote. Because that is an advantage, wherein actually we can bring in the whole idea of building a successful product is bringing the best minds and bringing the right people into a team, right? That's all probably like 50% of the problem, building a business. Right? So now this working about this remote thing has basically given everyone sitting at one corner of the world can contribute to a team, right? That is the whole idea of making things remote. So I still don't think like probably like, you can move to some other developed countries looking at different aspects of maybe you can to some extent, right, elevate your living conditions and things like that. But if you really wanted to be part of a team and solve problems, currently with this, the way industry is moving, right? Remote working is already there. So I would encourage everyone to be part of that journey. And if they want to be really part of the team sitting in UK or US, and if you get an opportunity, you can always move there. I'm totally fine with that. But you should never make a decision saying that, okay, your primary decision-making process should never be like, okay, I want to move to UK, I want to move to US, right? At least I think I have mentioned in my career thing, if I got an opportunity to work remotely at that point of time, sitting in India and being part of the wireless lab, I would have never moved to China.
Yeah.
There was no point because my primary goal itself is not to move to China. My primary goal is to be part of that the research labs. And that I got an opportunity. At that time, it was limited, right? Now the industry has evolved. So I think my recommendation would be, or my feedback would be that your primary always, like, find your passion and think about, talk to people and see that, okay, there is a vision somebody is talking about. Then you want to be really, really believe in that vision. Then be part of that vision. It could be like sometimes, right? You'll be forced to move to US. Then make the decision, right?
Yeah.
So that would be my feedback about this one.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Like, passion should be the first thing to follow, and so that you are actually doing the work which you want to do.
Yes.
And the other things will follow along. Yeah. So,
and
like
one more add on to this, right? Probably I'll take to maybe an extreme step in providing this feedback. So again, comparing to when I started my career journey, right, there was not enough opportunity like startups. It was very, very, probably like there was no startups in 2002, very few, which probably I did not know at that point of time. So now there is like a lot of youngsters are coming with ideas and they all wanted to, I read an article recently, like the GM of Tata, right? He added that he started that Goodfellows, which I think Ratan Tata itself has funded into this one. So there are a lot of initiatives happening. I would still suggest that in your early career, you can, I think different people are coming from different backgrounds, so they have different personal reasons. I would still suggest that if you can take that risk, try to fail in the initial stages of your career. Be part of a startup or try to start something thinking that you are going to fail 100%. Okay. And you put all your effort there, 2-3 years in your career, right? I would suggest that is the best learning you can get. Probably like the way I spent around 10 years, right? You will learn it in 3 years now. Okay. So maybe I think that probably maybe I'll have to go and put this as the top thinking for people. Be part of the journey, thinking that, okay, I'm going to spend 4 years investing in this one. I may not be successful, but I'm going to learn or be part of a startup company. I'll try to learn something. I may not make the money which I'm going to get from other companies, right?
Yeah.
So I think my advice would be that you will get a lot of learnings. Then come to, if you want to be part of a bigger company. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Because in startups, mostly people are building from the scratch, trying to solve some issues which might not be solved. Yeah. So, like in this whole career, like you have seen a lot of revolutions happening. Like you have even seen the crash of 2008. You also saw different technologies coming in. So, at any point of time, did you think that this is a new technology coming in? I should maybe switch my domain and try to learn this. Like in today, there is a lot of confusion that should we move to machine learning? Should we learn blockchain or should we stick to a normal generic software development?
Yeah, totally. So from my perspective, right, I always keep in touch with what is happening in the industry, either by attending conferences. So that is my biggest avenue of, or probably like, because now it's like a bigger organization for me in Amazon. So I used to spend most of my principal engineers and others to go and attend conferences and look at basically like getting data from conferences. So I know where the industry is heading into. Then always talking to my peers. I always keep in touch with them. It's an unofficial discussion, but we really talk about like where the industry is moving on and what are the. Then the other thing is like we always talk to. That is one advantage of Amazon, right? Because we today, fortunately, we are our products have been used by probably like all the biggest enterprise customers today in the world. So we always talk to customers during reInvent and other things to understand what are the biggest pain points which they have. Then coming back and looking at what all tools we have, right? How we can solve that problem. Again, think about this one. There is nothing fancy in machine learning. I can guarantee you that because I know the people who runs machine learning in Amazon. Let me tell you that very few PhD people is actually doing the core work of machine learning. Rest everybody is taking that models, right, and building applications, right? So instead, whichever team you are part of, in whichever part of the company, you look at these are tools, then try to see what are your biggest customer problems and see how these tools can be used to solve that problem. You got it, right? So otherwise, right, because this is a false notion people have saying that, oh, I want to be in machine learning. It's always like it's greener on the other side, right? Once you go there and you realize that, oh my God, actually I'm doing almost like the same thing. Right? So but instead, I would suggest that I can give you an example, like the scale at which probably Google and other companies are working, right? Always managing a massive distributed system is always a pain. Right? So how can you take machine learning and other kind of useful tools and predict some things and try to create a self-organizing network? This is a problem which was there in the telecom network, and I've been part of some of the journey, and we couldn't solve that problem at that point of time. There is a concept called SON in the industry. So try to see how you can take all these kind of tools and solve a problem within the massive distributed system, right? The scale at which these companies are operating. So that itself is a bigger problem to look into, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think that sounds great. Yeah. At least we should keep on exploring different fields so that we know like what is there and how actually we can apply that to whatever we are doing. So like, did you think out this path? Like you would someday become a manager?
Never. I told you in the beginning, right? I have no idea in the first 2-3 years. So probably like, I think that is how it needs to be. You need to explore different things. At some point of time, you will identify your passion. And it is always like try to work with great leaders. And most of the companies have a lot of great leaders, right? Because otherwise these companies will not be successful. And try to talk to them in probably like when they are giving some kind of during some business meetings, right? They are talking about what is the vision and the mission they are set for a team, right? Be part of those meetings and try to understand. That is where I think your interest will align with some of the greater vision leaders have in companies. So that should be the first thing you need to look into. Then I think everyone here, right? I think so. I always believe that each and everyone coming to the industry is bringing in something new to the table, right? So because everyone has some unique strength. So as a leader, right, we need to always find that unique strength, because again, right, developing something new is always like a collective work, and you need to bring in the right people. So I think as a leader, right, that is where the bigger achievement is, because otherwise a leader who can inspire and set a vision and map all that into a business can always if you look at the past, right, has always created something different, and it has been always successful. So as a new engineer to the industry, you should always talk to whichever organization you are part of. Try to be part of some discussions where leaders are giving vision and mission, and try to see whether you believe in that. Then I think if you have that passion, right, I think you will figure out probably like 3-4 years.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. That's a great advice for me and maybe anyone who is watching this. And this has been a great conversation, and thank you so much for taking out this time and telling us about your like amazing journey. And I hope a lot of people can take inspiration from you and follow their passion and build something innovative.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, thanks for inviting me. I like to do this actually, talking, because this is something which nobody was there to at least give me a direction or a path, right? So I am more than happy to have these kind of discussions. I think we should always give back to the industry and make sure that whatever learnings we can give to these new engineers, right? I think it's really important. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, Sukhat. Thanks
Thank
for
you so
your
much.
time. Yeah.